wicked. Hit either wall, deflected keeps it out of both walls, and gets a lovely exit out of the section, and through to this 2 flat out corners, and into a tricky left-hander. Puts it up nicely, a little bit too much speed, nearly hits the wall, but doesn't affect him too much. To the end of sector 2, and then onto sector 3, power down all the way to the end of the straight now. Through the first left, through the first right, and it's full flat all the way until the finish line. Not close enough to get a section, but does get to the DRS. Also with some ERS keeping it close to the wall to maintain minimum distance, and goes to the top of the timing odds with a 40.8, and 1010 beats it with a 40.7 himself. Interesting to see Tamino just go for a spin there, it seems, at turn 3. Perry Jerry locking up there. Perry Jerry locking up there into turn 3 and just hitting Tamino. And I don't know whether it gave Perry Jerry a penalty as well, but it gave Tamino definitely a penalty, which is a bit annoying for Tamino as Wiggles goes fastest. Apologies by the way, but you can't hear us back. Hello Sundod, hello Novitech, hello Hyper, hello Difficult. In the Alpine, opening the DRS, keeping it close to the wall, crossing the line and going 6th fastest for now. I'll turn my game audio down. This is Greg, by the way, for winning McLaren. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. And I've asked him, is it okay for me to call him Greg? And he says yes, it's fine. So I'm going to call him Greg, because I can't pronounce that name for the life of me. I don't see him at Spark. It doesn't seem to be working to get Spark in today for some reason. Perry Jerry finishing his lap in the Aston Martin. Don't have too much ERS, but as the DRS comes towards the line now, where will it go on the medium tyres, goes just above his, exactly the same as his teammate. Which really, he should have gone behind his teammate, because his teammate's at it first, but I'm sure Perry Jerry won't be complaining too much there, which is very good to see. And I think Monkey Raja is also making his debut for the league as well, with destined something, yeah. Fluid on a new lap, I think. Hoping to go somewhere towards where his teammate is in P7. Opens the DRS, using his ERS all the way to the line, and goes behind his teammate into P8, which I'm sure I'll be pretty happy with. Perry Jerry has invalidated, but was on another lap in this lap. But he's definitely still going for it. 3 minutes left, definitely needs to get the lap time in. It is me and Spark, but Spark's just struggling to include his audio for some reason. It's not letting him. Spark, Deton then through the second DRS straight. Little bit of a recorrection through turn 3, but shouldn't be too bad for him. For the first sector, setting a 36.6. I could not remember for the lifetime of me if that's actually quite good. Going through the famous castle section now, close to the wall, all the time through the castle section. Looking it up nicely there, just touching the curb, maybe helping him move his rotation slightly. Coming down the long DRS straight now. He needs this to be a good lap for Deaton to get through to Q2. Oh, and that is definitely not going to help him. And I will say that is a bit of commentator's curse there. Both wheels coming off, front left and back left. And that is Deaton's qualifying over, unfortunately for him. Majestic is in the pits, which means, but I'm pretty sure Majestic is out of qualifying, which is a bit annoying for Majestic. Destined finishing his lap time now in the AlphaTauri. The Red Bull gets moved out of the way quite well just before he gets there. Opens the DRS and wants to move himself up a little bit. There's only one person that can go out now. Oh, and goes up into P5. Very good lap there by Destined. Greg is not on another lap time, I don't think. Oh, and just cuts the corner too much. And that is his qualifying over. So it is Mr. Wiggles starting off the season so far where we left off in Season 3 in the P1 spot. 10-10 with a strong P2, deflated P3, and Tamino with that unfortunate 5th place penalty. I'm not sure whether he'll get removed or not, but it will be TRC Deaton, Monkey Raja and Majestic going out in Q1 of John behind. As Monkey Raja has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in before the race starts. Very nicely through turn 3 there for Joseph, hitting the apex on the inside and keeping it just out of the wall. Coming to the end of sector 1 with a 35.5. Good first sector from what we've seen so far. What am I eating? I was eating a pizza, Deflated. It's like normal, it's a Tuesday night, Deflated. You should know that it's pizza. Very nicely through there for Joseph. Pretty much inch perfect and using all the track possible on the exit. Oh, and I think maybe just tapping the wall there slightly. Out of turn 16, I think it is. And then flat out now for Joseph. All the way to the finish line. This looks like at least a solid lap for Joseph. We'll be hoping that it'll get him through to Q3 with just this lap. Crossing the line now. And goes fastest obviously with a 40.8. And John tops that with a 40.4. Ross coming to the line and just going ahead of John in the Red Bull, which he picked himself. Is obviously good for him. Flew coming to the line, and where can he get compared to his teammate? Only 3 tenths behind his teammate, which I'm sure he'll be happy with. We'll be wanting to try and keep as close to Joseph as possible. We'll be wanting to go for the constructors like everyone else does. Got an Aston Martin of Perry Jerry coming down the straight. And I think he's going into the pit lane, which he is. Very tricky pit lane around this circuit. Got Smaller Smiley coming down the straight, and I think Smaler's got a bit of damage. He does. He's not got any ERS on as well, so I think that's Smaller Smiley coming into the pit lane. You know, which is interesting. It goes 4th fastest with a 41.1. Just over 6 tenths slower than IIRL in first. Richie goes 6th fastest, but not on the most competitive lap for Richie, and I know he can go faster than that. Maybe just a bit of a banker. We'll watch 10:10 in the Williams starting his lap time. 35.6, so only a 10th down on Joseph in P3 at the minute. Coming to the end of his lap now, 16.4. Says a purple middle sector, but you can never actually trust that on this game. Through the very flat S's, which Deaton unfortunately had his crash. Crossing the line and goes just above his teammate into, not his teammate, above Joseph into P3. Evening, Deaton. Unfortunate about the crash in it. We have an Alpha Tauri of Destined coming to the line. He's also on the mediums. Maybe trying to save a set of soft tyres for the race or for Q3. Crossing the line, goes 8th fastest at the minute. Greg on a lap time, I think. Nope, he's got his ERS off. So we'll go with Mr. Wiggles, who's just started the lap, getting a bit of a snap of oversteer there out of turn 2. Which will affect him all the way down this straight. Oh, and just taps a wall there, I think, into turn 3, which definitely would have helped his time. It looks like he's just carrying on. Just to see if we can get a good enough lap time. Oh dear. Perry Jerry going 9th fastest. Smaller Smiler in the Alfa Romeo. Was in the Haas last season, I think. No, was he in the Haas? No, Smaller was in the Alfa. No, Aston Martin, I think. Can't remember. It comes to a line and goes 6th fastest at the minute. Very, very slightly ahead of Tamino. We'll see what Perry Jerry's teammate can do. It's a bit weird really, Spark, because I've got the part of the party thing unmuted on Twitch, so I don't know why it's not working. You need to do some questions then, Demon. You need to give us some responses, and then we'll tell everyone about you. Richie then out of the castle section. I can't say that on stream, Demon. It's a PG channel. Can't say that on stream. You need to put it in a more formal way for me to say. Richie then coming to the end of his lap. Crossing the line. Goes P10. Just into the top 10, and we'll be hoping the drivers below will improve. Destined is definitely out, as well as Greg, who have retired. It has stopped me before, TJ. I don't swear on this channel. I do in parties, but not in this on this channel, because it is a PG channel. Trying to keep it as PG as possible. Deflated then, wanting to go above his teammate, which would be a bit bittersweet for him. Crossing the line to go second fastest, and I didn't even notice that Tamina went fastest with a 39.4 and is nearly a second ahead of everyone. Mr. Wiggles is on a new lap anyway, and he's 1.2 seconds up on his lap time. So this could be the second man into the 139s today. And goes second fastest and does hop into the 139s. Deflated isn't on a lap time. Smaller Smiley looks to be. And with Flew not on a lap time, it does mean that Smaller Smiley is safe as Richie goes into the pits. So there's a shootout between Perry Jerry and Flew at the minute. And Perry Jerry is currently improving by 4 tenths, which is definitely what he needs to get into Q3. Gets through the very fast section of the track. Crossing the line and does go P10 and just about knocks Flew out of qualifying, because my memory isn't very good. Ah yeah, deflated in P3, Prev P4, Irish J in P5, Mr. Consistent, John P6, 10 P7, Smaller Smiley P8, Joseph P9, and Perry Derry just sneaking in at the end into P10. And the 5 drivers out in the first Q2 of the season are Greg, Destined, Sammy, Richie, and Flew. I can hear Spa. He is here. The man is here.
I'm back. Sorry for that infinitely long wait. I mean, Ferrari have done pit stops quicker than that. Weirdly enough, oh my goodness. So I'm so sorry about that, viewers.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's better next week, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, apologies.
It's on the quali. It could have been the race.
Oh, thank goodness for that. So, don't miss anything good.
Tamino being a monster.
Oh, what's the time has he done? He's done a 39.6.
Did a 39.4 in qualifying 1. I mean qualifying 2, which is definitely an expectation.
Get out of the way, then good to see that the gentleman's agreement is being upheld.
10:10 starting his lap then. His first lap time of Q3. We'll be hoping that he can get round just in time for a second lap time, but he does only have 4 minutes 40 left, so he might be pushing it for 10:10. This might be his only lap time.
Unless he's taken on a bit more fuel than required, that could be his only saving grace. But yeah, I completely agree. At this time, it's a very weird time to go for your final run because you will not get that second chance, I feel.
Maybe he only has 1 set of tyres. Possibly.
Maybe.
I don't know. 10:10's a strange human being. He's Scottish. And I don't mean that all bad about Scottish people, but 10:10 is just one of them Scottish people. It's weird.
You know I'm Scottish, TD.
You're not Scottish, so shush.
I was trying to weird you out, see what you think there. But anyway, let's get back to 10:10, who's just about
finishing his lap.
And finish his lap, yeah. Right, so what we're feeling here didn't look particularly tidy coming to the end of the second sector. So as it comes across the line, it's a 40.3, so that's good enough right now for 6th place.
I'm sure he won't be disappointed with it, but I think he'll want to have been a little bit higher than that.
A 390-degree left-handers here, and it's very, very tricky, especially under braking. It's very, very hard track in which you can tell to go through turn 2 now, upshifts to 4th, and that gives him plenty of traction coming down the second DRS zone. And traction is one of the things you especially need around this track. It's one that really kills your rear tyres. It comes down to turn 3, he takes that very, very nice. Upshift goes to 4th again, with yellow flags in sector 3, so it looks like it's something just slowing. And what is his time as he comes across the first sector? It's a 35.1, so he's just nearly a 10th up on his best, but he's going to have to find cuts a little bit the corner, which is exactly what you need to do if you're going to get some time here. Throws it in very confidently, the Aston Martin stays out of the way, and it's very, very good of him to do that. Oh, and he's invalidated, it seems, and it seems like TD, my commentary, has been cut a little bit short. Bit of an anticlimax there.
He does have time for a new lap, however, obviously won't be optimal for Joseph. Prev has invalidated his lap time as well. Mr. Wiggles looks to be on a new lap time, obviously hasn't set a lap time in this qualifying session so far.
He's just coming across the line, he's about to start. Oh wait, no, he is on his own, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, Mr. Wiggles finishing his lap time now, coming down of a very long back pit straight. Opens the DRS, will be wanting to at least get close to his teammate. We've seen him going for a 39 today, can he do it again? And he does. Oh, just misses out on pole position, but provisional pole for the time being, and goes P2. Oh, by 0.012, which is...
Mino has just gone 5 tenths up on his lap, and he's just coming across now. It's only a pit straight to go. We could see an absolutely brilliant time here from the Ferrari as it comes across the final corner now on the line. What's it going to be? It's a 39.1. What a lap!
I want to know what Tamino's been eating.
Or at least he's getting porridge ideas from Valtteri Bottas. IIRL J next to across the line. It's a 40.2, so it's good enough for 5th place.
Smaller Smiley will be hoping to channel his inner Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. Will be wanting to at least go up a couple of positions for his liking. Coming to the line
And
now.
to whom it may concern, it's 4th place.
Good lap time as well. Into the 39s for Smaller. Looks like
Very
John
strong lap
is the
there.
next driver, I think. No, it's Deflated Wee, who isn't improving and comes into the pits. Oh, that's a bit of a surprise for Deflated. P10 is the maximum for Deflated in this qualifying session. John
And
can't
John
improve.
doesn't improve.
Stays P3. And it looks like Prev is next, but stays out and doesn't improve his lap time. Trying to go for it this season. So it's Tamino in P1, Mr. Wiggles in P2, and John with a solid P3. Smaller Smiley with a very solid lap time in P4, Joseph Hales P5. Maybe a little bit disappointed with that invalidation, but we'll be wanting to gain places in the race. The reigning champion, Iros J in P6, Prev in P7, Perry Jerry in P8, 1010 in P9 with his only run in Q3, and Deflated, maybe a little bit of a surprise, in P10. And the 30-second timer is gone. We have 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights in Baku for Season 4. And we are underway for Season 4 in Baku. It looks like Mr. Wiggles has got a good start. John trying to go down the inside, but can't get there. But Small Smiley with a great move around the outside into turn 1, moving up into P2. Tamino losing a bit of places, a couple of places on the first lap. Deflated getting a great start up into P6 already after 1 corner. But it is Mr. Wiggles leading it away after the first couple of corners. It is very close in the midfield. Deflated right behind Joseph Hills as we have a yellow flag. And it looks like it might have been Monkey Raja, but I'm not quite sure. Deflated right behind Joseph now. Tamino wanting to get them places back for the 5th place grid penalty that he got in qualifying, unfortunately. Through the castle section we go now. Deflated right on the tail of Joseph Hales, wanting to get as many places gained on the first lap. 4 gained already. We'll be wanting to gain a 5th one very soon. Oh, and Sparks crashed. Please don't bring out a safety car. Oh my god, it has. A VSC.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry.
It's only a VSC, so I think we're okay.
That was embarrassing.
I think we're okay, because I think it's only a VSC. I don't think you have to worry too much. As long as no one goes into the pit lane, then we're fine.
One thing I will say, playing on the pad was so weird.
Yeah, no one's off into the pit lane, so we're fine. You don't have to worry. Tim said you had one job.
I'll happily take. I'll take a 5-second penalty for a race. Oh, well.
Stream ban.
Stream ban.
Yeah, as you can see, Deflated up 4 positions on lap 1. Very good start by Deflated, making it in positions that he may have lost in qualifying. But the biggest loser is Prev, who has got a drive through. Oh, it keeps getting worse for Prev so far. 4 positions down and a drive through. That just, it isn't going to plan for Prev so far, but he shouldn't back out, as there could be a safety car around this track, as we know what Baku is like. Mr. Wiggles getting a great restart there, already 1.4 seconds ahead of Smaller Smiley, who's in front of John. 3 tenths now, but and Smaller Smiley's off.
He's gone off.
Oh, and he hits his front wing there. He hasn't lost it all. But that is... Oh, that's a really unfortunate there for Smiley.
It's so tricky, that part of the corner. It's
Oh, and Richie's got no
it,
front wing either.
Yeah, the Haas has no front wing, so both cars will be pulling straight into the pits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them too. But we are only on lap 3, so they don't need to worry too much. Wiggles obviously setting the fastest lap on lap 3. And IIRL J has managed to get past John. Looks maybe going into turn 1, which is good for IIRL J on the medium tyres. It looks to be. So going for a different strategy compared to John. Oh no, John's on the mediums as well. Tamino on the hard tyres, so going for a longer first stint is Tamino.
Joseph Bales as well is also on the hard tyres, and same as 1010, as well as Destin PRDM. So I'm just going to struggle to pronounce that. So 6 out of the top 10 at the moment, currently going for the alternate strategy. And so far, Wiggles is making the most of those medium tyres with a 2.4 second lead. IIRL J is going to have it all to do defending against the McLaren of John with only 5/10s and a very powerful DRS. You could probably see an overtake coming into the first corner.
It all depends on wings around this track, as we were saying in quali. High wings can keep you very vulnerable on the straights, but if IIRL J has got some fast straight line speed, it might be able to defend from John with some ERS as well. Going towards the first corner now in the start finish line, John looks to be getting closer. He's pulling up with the DRS, goes down the inside of IIRL J. Can he keep the move done? He'll get very close to contact, but IIRL J keeps it very nicely around the outside.
Very well defended there, but he's got another DRS straight to contend with here. And maybe that will benefit John in the long haul, because obviously 2 DRS, so you have to wait an eternity for the next one. But it doesn't look like he's closing up that much as it comes down to turn 3. A little bit of a lock up there from IIRL J, I saw. However, IIRL J hands on to second place. Brilliant defensive driving.
Tamino getting past deflated Weaver into turn 3. Not getting the disadvantage of them hard tyres, and he's wanting to get in them positions and wanting to get back up into P1. Up into P4 for Tamino, and deflated down to P5. Oh, bit of a wiggle there for Tamino, but not too much time lost. We'll just be wanting to try and gain as much time to John as possible. Oh, and deflated has locked up going into Castle section and has fallen all the way down into P9.
I'm surprised he got away with not too much damage on that. It probably looked like he, I don't know whether he returned in and then just clipped the back end of his tyre.
He just went straight on into the runoff section.
Oh, in that case,
he did a Carlos.
It's even more impressive that his front wing has been able to hold on as well as it has. But now we come up to lap 5. Wiggles still has a 2.4 second lead. Tamino, I have to say, is doing really well to be in 4th with those hard tyres on. He's only just short 4 seconds off the lead, so as long as nothing gets too crazy, it's starting to come to him. But that said, he hasn't got a lot of ERS left.
Perry Jerry going down the inside of Joseph Hales there, using his tyres to his advantage. Oh, a bit of close one to the wall for Joseph, and Tenton will be sniffing all over the back of the Alpine and wanting to get past as quick as he can. Padge has retired in the pits, which is unfortunate for Padge, but for us always next week. He is only reserve, so we still appreciate Padge for reserving. We have a yellow flag in sector 1. I think it might have been... I thought
yellow in sector 1, not sure what that was.
I think it might have been Monkey Raja going into turn 3. Not too sure of it, I didn't quite see it. Perry Derrioba wanted to keep in front of Joseph now, and he has pulled out 1 second. Oh, and gets very close to the wall. Luckily, not hitting the wall for his sake. especially on them medium tyres, we'll be wanting to run them as long as possible and possibly going on to the hard tyres.
It all depends with how safety cars plays out. If you look at the front, gap now between IIRL and Wiggles 3.2, but the gap between John and IIRL was about 2 tenths coming out the castle section. He's got 5 tenths behind him now. So let's see how well IIRL is able to defend this. The McLaren's got 36% amount of ERS left, and yeah, he should be long past it before he goes to the corner. He goes round to the outside, and it looks like he's got a car length ahead just before the corner. So we see the McLaren up now into second position.
Very nice by John, getting that position back that he lost on lap 3. And we'll be wanting to try and catch up to John as much as possible, as there is a yellow flag. And I think Joseph Hales has had a spin and he's lost part of his front wing damage. That definitely won't be good for Joseph Hales. He's lost it out to his teammate. He's lost out to 10-10. And it looks like he's going to lose out even more positions, as he's probably going to have to pit at the end of this lap.
And Tamina now right on the back of IIRL, and he's really struggling on those medium tyres, and he hasn't got a lot of energy left either compared to John, who has got 40. And he could be suspect to the Ferrari here. I think he stops. Oh, and he gets the back end a little bit wide, and the Ferrari is right on the back of him now.
That Red Bull is sliding all over the pace. It won't be very nice through any of the corners. Oh, and Tamina looks a little bit down the inside, but decides to keep behind for the time being. We'll be wanting to get in front of IIRL going into turn 1. His title contender from last season will be wanting to start the season off well and try and beat IIRL. He's getting up to the DRS now. In the slipstream, opens the DRS. Can he get in front of IIRL? Pulls to the inside and gets a move nicely done into turn 1. Oh, and IIRL. Oh,
but he goes wide. And
Tamina's spun. They've both spun into turn 1.
At the same time. Unbelievable. And that puts Perry Jerry into 3rd place in the Aston Martin.
10-10 up to 4th as well. This is that was crazy. Both title contenders last season spinning into turn 1, and it promotes Perry Jerry and 10-10 up 2 positions. And they'll both need to be careful now. The tyres will be a lot warmer after that spin, and they'll need to be careful that they haven't got bad tyres. And Perry Jerry has locked up into turn 4, and he's lost positions now, and he's down to P6, now down to P7 as Flew go down the inside and gets the move done just about. Nearly making contact in there into turn 5, but gets the move done just, and he's up to P6 in the Alpine. But wow, that was a...
Blink and you will miss it, am I right?
That was a crazy couple of corners.
Oh, and the Ferrari back end steps out a little bit there.
Flu's right on the back of Tamina. Flu's got really good pace at the minute. Maybe a little bit of a disappointing qualifying for Flu, but he is right on the back of TV at Tamino. He will have the DRS going down his... Oh, Tamino spins again! And that gives Flu the easy position that he wanted, but he might be a little bit...
I think Deflated Wee's had an incident too. Just before that corner, Deflated Wee just had another incident, and another yellow flags were going. It's been... As soon as the tyres are starting to die, we're seeing a lot of mistakes happening across this field.
And I think Mr. Wiggles has made a mistake as well. He's into the pit lane on the hard tyres, and he's had a front wing change. So that could be crucial for Mr. Wiggles. He was roughly around 4 seconds in front, but he's going to lose a lot of time changing his front wing in the pits here, and he's got a long way to go on them hard tyres.
And IIRL has stayed out, so it doesn't look like he suffered too much damage from that spin. With the Ferrari in as well, that'll put a stamper on his race, sadly. But now John, after everything that's been going on, has taken the lead. And I think Greg has gone off as well. He's also made a damage in the system McLaren.
Oh, and I think it's the Aston Martin of Sammy just going straight on into turn 3.
Can I just have a break from all of this action, please?
This is crazy.
What an opener! And now another AlphaTauri has had a moment.
Yeah, destined on his debut. Will be wanting to not have too many spins on his debut. Deflated Weaver is right on the back of Mr. Wiggles, who's got extremely cold hard tyres, and will be wanting to get the move done.
I think those tyres will at least be close to 80 degrees by now. That's usually at the point where they are. Oh, and he nearly tries it down there. Yellow's in sector 2 yet again. It was down in the castle section, so a little bit
possibly
of contact
smaller
there.
Smiley.
It might have been, yeah.
But Deflated Wee now only 5.5 tenths behind Mr. Wiggles. Oh, and he just taps the wall
Oh, he brushed
there.
the wall a little bit there.
Did that last season, he's done it again this season. Hopefully for his sake he won't have any damage to his car, but I think he might still try to move it to turn 1 with DRS. He's gaining, but it doesn't seem to be enough at the minute.
Oh, the Mercedes goes wide.
I think he might have locked up there, and that's given Deflated Wee the free position. And he's now up to P6. This race is crazy. Oh, and Perry Jerry's gone straight on again at turn 3. Mistakes are definitely creeping in.
Are we at Baku or are we at Baku?
This is a pure Baku race. Chaos. Joseph Hales now then up into P12. I'm not sure where Joseph pitted. I mean P11, but he has got past Monkey Raja now. And he is on the medium tyres. So maybe a 2-stop for Joseph. Which is an interesting strategy to say the least. Oh, and the Aston Martin there. Sammy just going for another spin there, unfortunately for him.
Oh, he's got to be careful getting back the right way. It'll just do even more damage to his front wing. He tries to stay out the way of the Ferrari. Alfa Romeo really has to get on the brakes. And I will see the other Alfa Romeo straight into the pits as the Alfa almost loses a bit of traction behind.
There's not much that Sammy could have done there. He's going through the castle section and he's only just got restarted from a spin, so there's not too much of a problem there. Oh, and Joseph right on the back of Greg, and he's going down the inside of the S's, which is an interesting place to go for, because it could leave him open to Greg going down into turn 1, but he does look to have quite a lot of momentum, and this could definitely keep him in front going down to turn 1, which it does. And that is Greg up into P9, Joseph up to P9, will be wanting to gain another position by catching up to Destin. Just runs a little bit wide there, losing a bit of time. And Mr. Wiggles gets back past Deflated Wee up into P6. His tyres have warmed up now. Oh, and Spike just leaves the party. We'll just send him a quick invite. Then now, Mr. Wiggles in P6. And has already pulled out a second to Deflated. So Deflated's tyres may be going off now. Nearly 11 laps on the tyres, so could be getting close to the pit window time for the medium runners. Yeah, as you say, medium tyres will be starting to go off now, and we could see some pit stops. Sound issues? Have we got sound issues? Through the S section, and that has brought out a full course safety car. A full course safety car, and that could change the complexion of this race. Perry Jerry comes into the pits, puts the hard tyres on. Tamino coming into the pits, fitting the hard tyres again, who have already done 7 laps. Smaller Smiley comes into the pit lane. What will Richie do now?
This is more or less it's more or less at the pit window where all of the, I think maybe John was expecting to come in anyway, but the only disadvantage he's going to have is that the rest of the field is going to catch him.
Rich it into the pit lane, Monk it into the pit lane. Sammy staying out as he has only just pitted for the hard tyres, and that'll be reserved for TRC Deton. But what will the leaders do then? What will John do? What will 1010 do, who's on the hard tyres? It's a tricky decision for 1010 and Destined, both on the hard tyres. They can get the mediums to the end, however they will be very, very worn towards the end of the stint.
I can't hear anything on the stream.
I can hear you, Spark.
I know you can hear me, but I don't think our voices are coming through in the stream.
Yeah, I can hear it on the stream, mate.
But you can hear me on the stream as well?
Yeah. I can hear everything.
Okay. Okay, good. Thought I was in
It's all good,
there.
you're just worrying. Have you got your volume up? Have you got your hearing aids in? 1010 does come into the pits. Onto the mediums.
See Son got being cheeky in the chat, that's very good of him.
No change there, mister. Looks like everyone is coming into the pit lane. Destin comes into the pit lane as well. So I think that is probably the best thing that they can do. But like I say, medium tyres, not going to be very nice towards the end. But these few safety car laps will definitely help them. As I won't be doing as much high speed, as you can say.
This is the interesting thing whenever you're behind a safety car. Like, do you take life out trying to keep your tyres warm, or do you try and keep the life in and risk whole tyres at the restart? It's always a very tricky balance to negotiate. It will help those who have been pitting onto the medium tyres. It will certainly give them a better chance of getting those tyres through to the end. But I would feel much more comfortable sitting on those hards because I know I have life at the end to make a difference just in case the tyres fall off really bad for the likes of 1010 and Joseph Hales, who are all on the medium tyre.
Joseph is going to have a big advantage. I mean, 1010 is going to have a big advantage on John at the restart. We'll be wanting to try and get in front, going into a few corners at least in this lap. And channel points have been updated, guys.
I've got 1.4k.
I don't know how many I've got, but I know I've got quite a lot. Safety car is in then. When will the McLaren of John bolt for it? He has the long straight to contend with, and will be wanting to try and keep the Williams behind of 1010.
With the straight being so long and his tyres being slightly cold, he's got to wait until the last possible opportunity, or else 1010 and all the others behind will easily get a run at him. With the toe being a little bit more powerful, I feel, in this game. And he's gone. As I say that, he's gone. He's gone.
And he's got a great restart as well.
Good restart.
Slew getting a bit of a poor one, but IIRL is right behind Mr. Wiggles. And will be wanting to get the move done. Oh, and Deflated Wee going around the outside of Perry Jerry, going into turn 1. Can he get the move done? Oh, Perry Jerry keeping the speed there. Very good defence. Going into turn 1. TV Tamino and Joseph getting very close together, but Joseph on their medium tyres managing to keep in front so far.
Very tidy restart so far. Very good to say. I thought Deflated Wee was going to lose his front wing after he's going so close to the wall after turn 2. But I have to say, everybody round without an incident, and just as we suspect, 1010 all over the back of the McLaren on those medium tyres, who should be able to stay with him with the softer rubber through sector 2, so expect an overtake probably coming by the end of the next straight.
Ten then 5 tenths behind, as you say, very close to the McLaren. But Mr. Wiggles keeping up with him, as well as IIRL and it is currently a four-way battle, but Flew will be wanting to gain that time back up and wanting to get into the battle for the win or even the podium positions.
It may even be more sensible right now just to wait and pick up the pieces, because anything can happen with these guys coming together. Not the two say anything bad about their driving. I know they're all very sensible, but this is a track where, as we saw earlier on in this race, the slightest mistake and you're pretty much in the mud. And IIRL J a lot closer to Mr. Wiggles than 1010 is to John John.
He is, but it is still 4 tenths behind, so it doesn't look like we're going to get a move, seeing as though there is no DRS, and I think Richie has just made a mistake there where Greg crashed and possibly getting front wing damage. He's got some front wing damage. It's unfortunate for Richie, and will probably be coming into the pits this lap. And Deflated and Perry Jerry going at it once again, and Deflated getting the better of Perry Jerry. Tamino losing time to Joseph Hales now, and he looked to have been losing time to Destin there, but manages to keep the position.
12 lap old hards, he's going to lose time. He's going to lose time. I imagine he'll be in the pits again.
He's struggling a bit, is Tamino. Possibly cold tyres as well. Just hasn't been the race that Tamino wanted, but he is going to try as hard as possible to get into them podium positions. Switch back to the front, and 1010 is all over the back of that McLaren now, and I think he does have.
He was very tidy through that section.
I think he does have DRS this lap. I think it's the third lap after the safety car, so maybe we may see a move going down into turn 1, or we could see 1010 just sticking behind, keeping his tyres in a good tyre range and getting him towards the end of the race.
Advantage for him there, he'll save energy as well, and I have to say he was very well placed during the castle section. As he comes down the straight, he's barely using any energy. He's using the toe to give him as much energy as you'll need for the DRS when it gets activated on the next lap. And speaking of said, there we go.
He is on the 3 tenths behind, keeping behind for the time being very sensible. As we know, 1010 is a sensible driver at times.
I'll let you take the heat for that one. 1010 carrying a lot of speed through turn 3. I was worried about whether he was going to get the car stopped there.
Oh, and Trev looks to be getting past Destin now, up into P10 in that Mercedes car. Will be wanting to get some good points, like his teammate Mr. Wiggles currently in P3. And Destin looks to be losing a few positions now, maybe struggling a little bit on the mediums, not so strong on them compared to the hards, but he is going to at least try to keep his position. Top 4 then starting to pull away a little bit more away from Flew. 2 seconds now between 4th and 5th. Deflated wanting to get on the back of Flew, but the top 4 split between each other by a second for each position.
6 tenths back. Let's see what kind of impact 1010 can make with DRS. Doesn't look like he's close enough to get past, so ideally you may want to set him up for turn 3 for an overtaking opportunity where there's another DRS zone, and it brings him definitely much closer. As you see, Joseph Hales making a move on Perry Jerry behind in 7th place, and yeah, it doesn't look like anything has changed in the front. So John, I have to say, is driving very well under pressure to keep that Williams behind, which is on a softer compounder tyres.
Moves out a little bit, does 1010, but no move possible there.
Oh, and Perry Jerry's had a moment in the Aston Martin. He's gone wide, he's gone off at turn 3, trying to get that car pointing the right way.
Seen that a few times today from Perry, so maybe just struggling with lockups.
Yeah. Breaking points on this track with no assists is so crucial. You miss it by a second and immediately you're thinking about why didn't I hit it earlier, and it just ruins your whole stopping distance. And looks like Tamino's having some issues as he's I think he might have disconnected from the session there.
That's a usual Tamino thing. 10-10. Oh,
Looks
losing
like those
a little
rears
bit
are
of
getting
time
worn
there.
a little bit. Yeah, those rears are getting worn a little bit, and he's 7/10 behind, and crucially just keeps Mr. Wiggles out of the DRS. But John doing very well under pressure in that McLaren. I think it's starting to come back to him somewhat.
TV8 Tamino joins back, which is good to see. Hasn't lost too much time for his sake. Yeah, good to see. Oh, Smaller Smiley's left the session as well. We don't normally see that from Smaller.
Tamino's boxed. He needs a change of front wing, so sadly that might be curtains for his race.
I think that might have been his AI as well, which I know from Tamino he won't be happy with that.
No. And Perry Jerry's also retired in the pit lane, so that will be it for the Aston Martin. It's a shame as well because he was running very well in the points. He was fighting amongst the top positions, so it's always a shame to see him retiring. He drove, I think, a pretty good race.
John and 10-10 pulling away from Mr. Wiggles now. 2.3 seconds the gap between 10-10 and Mr. Wiggles, and it looks like a 2-horse race at the minute for the win. It's looking like between Mr. Wiggles and IIRL for the last podium position, but Mr. 10-10 himself won't be giving up the fight for the win.
Looks like the age on Mr. Wiggles' tyres is really starting to show. And once again, it's another stalemate at the front where 10-10 is closing up. We're in the DRS zones, but it looks like his medium tyres are really starting to go off a little bit, particularly the rears, as he's getting very little traction. He's unable to stay with them as well. And Wiggles has had an issue.
Yeah, I've just seen
Wiggles
that.
dropped behind.
IIRL getting in front.
Joseph Hales goes wide in the Alpine, sorry. And yeah, we're getting back into that stage again, TD, where tyres are aging and mistakes are creeping in.
Yeah, mistakes definitely creeping in. As we saw for the first 13 laps, and it seems that they're starting to creep in just a little bit again. Trev right on the back of Deflated Wee now. Oh, and Deflated makes a mistake there. Just into turn 7, I think that is. Locking his brakes and losing 3 positions there. Losing 4 now. Joseph
He's
goes
lost
down
another
the
one now.
That was really unfortunate for Deflated. Just locked his brakes, couldn't get the car slowed down, and that is him down to P10. But
SMH has had a moment in the castle section now. He was pointing the wrong way, and the Aston Martin has completely lost his front wing. So Aston Martin well and truly in the mud today, and as the lead above, nothing changes so far. It still remains a stalemate, but all it takes is one mistake and we could see a seismic change in this Grand Prix.
Deflated then will be wanting to try and get the position done back on Joseph Hales, as Smiley's AI does come into the pits. It is unfortunate for Smaller, was gaining back his places that he did lose. Oh, and Joseph just hits the wall there and loses part of his front wing going through turn 1. We've seen Joseph getting close to the wall, and he's now made the mistake and hits the wall. And the Sun God, thank you very much for subscribing. It's greatly appreciated, mate.
Yes, absolutely. Every subscription really does help us. A nice little battle going on for 10th between Monkey and TRC Deton. They're only separated by about 4/10 now, and the Alfa Romeo just comes out ahead there. Go back to the front. It looks like it's fairly, looks like it's another stalemate, doesn't it? And the Aston Martin comes into the pits to change his tyres and his front wing. Looks like John might have this, fairly covered.
We have started a poll, guys. Who is your driver of the day? We have gone for, in this poll, we've gone for John, 1010, Flew, Prev and Destined. Destined making up a great amount of positions. Same with Prev after an unfortunate start to the race, especially with that drive-through. Flew being very consistent, as Flew always does. 1010 gaining positions and being consistent for once. And John just picking up the pieces and not struggling under the pressure to be in P1. So make sure you get voting, guys.
And Tamino spun in sector 3 in the Ferrari, and it just goes from bad to worse for him. All he needs is an engine failure, and he's got the Ferrari Triple Crown or something. I don't know where I was going with that.
Someone could be going to Tamino, it's a Ferrari, and he could be going, it's it. And I'll let you finish that sentence.
If you've seen Rush, I'm sure you'll get the joke.
Demon says, can't vote for Sparks driver of the day, question mark. He was key in the first couple of laps actioning with the VSC.
If you want a Manus of the day, then it'll probably be me, but I have to say, I have to apologise to Prevanel, because it was a consequence of that VSC that he got his penalty. So I do have to apologise to him virtually on the stream. I'll do so in Discord as well.
He is prevailing at the minute though, up in P6.
Yeah, I know, but no one wants to be in that position, do they?
Did you like that, how I included?
Very good. Very good.
The bad jokes are out.
You obviously heard my deflated joke and decided to take cues. And Joseph Hales has spun down at 12th place in his Alpine. As you see up front, only 3/10 now between Mr. Wiggles and IIRL J. It's the duel for the bronze medal. I think Wiggles has got a run on him here.
Even with the harder tyres, he is keeping up with IIRL J, which is very impressive. Flag there. Oh, and 1010 and John look to swap positions a little bit there.
Hales has had another moment in sector 3.
Evening Tamino, unfortunate about your race, but always next week, mate.
You're on for a good one, mate, so keep your chin up, and yeah, best of luck for the next race in Brazil.
Which, of course, as we said earlier, is a sprint race, so make sure to be there next week. Fight for the lead then, with only just over 3 laps left. The gap is 0.6 of a second. 1010 keeping up with John on their medium tyres, which is doing extremely well, and John keeping his cool, keeping it calm and bringing it home so far in the McLaren.
That was quite a good exit from Wiggles, I have to say. With only 5/10 back, he could realistically make a move into turn 1. With only 4/10 now, with plenty of energy to come along, with 4/10 now as they come into the opening straight, I think he's got a run on him here. What's he going to do when he comes to the first corner?
Oh, he's not quite close enough.
He needs a good exit out of here, which if you're from the car behind is very hard to do. Oh, and a little bit of contact.
Wow.
Oh man, that's such a shame. Was pushing him all the way.
And that could be Wiggles' race done unless he has got a big pace advantage, but he has already got back into the DRS of IIRL, which is very good of him. Oh, and he just taps the wall there. And I'm not sure whether that'll have given him any minor damage or not, but that definitely won't help his time as he has lost some more time to IIRL. Needs to try and push in this middle sector to get back in that DRS.
And yeah, Joseph Hales has had another moment, but he's got to stay out of the way, and he does so, thankfully, of the leaders. There's only 3 laps to go. I mean, can we have a few more laps, please?
It has been a crazy but great race at the minute. And these two at the front are just giving it to each other as much as possible. And I can't predict who's going to win this race.
All it takes is one mistake, one lock-up of the tyre, and that could change absolutely everything. With 7 tenths behind, I don't think 1010's not going to be able to make a move now. And we see Richie M has gone off in the Haas. But with 2 laps to go, it might be now or never on the next couple of laps for 1010 if he wants to win this Grand Prix.
And this could be 1010's time to prevail. As we can see on John John's car, his rear light is flashing, which means he is under the 10% margin. 1010's rear light isn't flashing at all, which means he is over the 10% margin that he has left of his ERS, which could be the difference of an overtake going down into turn 1.
So tight, it's going to be... And Wiggles has come back to within 0.5 tenths of a second of IIRL. The fight for the podium places here, it may not be all 3 of them at once, but having these 2 separate battles coming into the lap, I mean, if you want an exciting finish, I mean, don't go anywhere, guys. This looks like it's going to be one right down to the wire.
There.
Oh, he has made a mistake, so...
He's out of a 1 second margin as well. He needs to try and get in it.
Oh, he locks up!
Oh, he just taps the wall there. Oh, and I think that might be his chance for win gone for 1010. Oh, that's so unfortunate for him.
Damage. Oh.
Doesn't look to have damage, but he's out of it thingy. He is out of the DRS.
Yeah.
Oh, and Wiggles has fallen back as well. He's out of the pit for 1 second of IIRL, so that's a big mistake as well for Mr. Wiggles. And at the moment,
he's 3 seconds back.
This is looking like what the podium is going to be. John 1010 Ross is looking like at the minute. As we start the final lap, then we will go on board with the race leader at the minute, John, who I have to say he's kept his calm all race. He's drove excellently, picked up on mistakes that other people have, and just drove the best race possible that he could.
Prabanel spins trying to overtake Flo, but it looks like he should just about keep 7th place. So no, he's dropping back, so that's a massive shame for him. But back to the leaders. When it came to pressure, this man soaked it up like a sponge to water. We only got a few more corners to go for John. And I have to say, with the battle that's been going on, he could have made a mistake at any point, but he just soaked up the pressure so well with a driver like 1010, who, let's be honest, is a very, very good peddler himself. He's only got 1 more straight to go for the McLaren to win the Grand Prix.
Coming through the final corners now for John. As me and Spark have both said, he has prevailed under the pressure. He's kept his cool and he's kept it really calm in the McLaren. He's going to win the first race of the season as he crosses the line to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Well done to John for winning the first race of Season 4 and in no assist. 1010 comes home in a solid P2, and IIRL comes home once again on the podium in P3. Mr. Wiggles P4 making a mistake towards the end, could have been a P3 for him, and very consistent from Flu32 coming up at P5. Very well done to Flu there. Deflated P6, maybe felt he could have done better, and just about stayed in front of Prevenel there by 0.032 of a second. Destined on his debut, P8, very good race by Destined there, and Monkey Raja on his debut coming home in P9. Smaller Smiley making it a double points positions for the Alfa Romeo coming home in P10. Deaton in P11, I don't think he'll be too disappointed. Comes home in P11 and just missing out on points, but after starting last, being at nearly a lap down, I'm sure that Deaton won't be too disappointed there. Sammy on his no assist debut coming home in P12. Richie being the last to cross the line in P13, and Joseph, an unfortunate race, coming home in P14. And as Richie crosses the line now, that is the end of the first race of the season. And what a race we could have had.
What an opener that was, eh? I mean, so many mistakes obviously happening between 8, 9 and 10, and changed absolutely everything in terms of the race order. Not quite the person I expected to win, but John is without a doubt a worthy winner. Took so much pressure, and 1010 as well. I have to give a massive shout out for brilliant driving and on much worn out medium tyres. Wiggles as well, taking those hards a little bit longer than anyone else. And obviously IIRL for finishing on the podium as well. Have to say, brilliant opener, absolutely loved it. Same again next week, please.
Yeah, John on the podium here means that he's leading the championship, and I think that's the first time he's been leading the championship for nearly 2 seasons, which is good to see. Good to see John back up there. So we have a McLaren, a Williams and a Red Bull. So it is John then in first place with 1010 behind him in second. IIRL comes home for P3 with Mr. Wiggles in P4. Flew very solid race in P5, Deflated coming home in P6, Prevenel P7, Destined, Monkey on their debuts, both getting points, and Smaller Smiley getting the last points positions. And then the last of the DNFs, Spark, Majestic, Greg, Perry Jerry, and TV8 Tamino, which is unfortunate for you guys, but hopefully you can prevail as much as you can next week in Brazil. Now, with driver of the day, Spark, who do you reckon?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think anyone in the top 4 is worthy, but I'm going to give it to John. Just the way he could have lost that place so easily with hards on compared to 1010's mediums. But the way he just soaked it up, it didn't make any mistakes. To be honest, worthy winner. So I would give it to him.
I will slightly overrule you, and I think I think we'll give it to both
By
1010 and
slightly,
John
you mean completely.
I think we'll give it to 1010 and John. So, but they both just prevailed really well there, and they pretty much put a perfect race together. So I think if that's okay with you, Spark, we'll give it to both of them.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. I thought they both drove brilliantly. I thought we were only able to choose one, but if I'd been overruled, then let's have both of them. Why not? Both worthy winners.
Yeah, we'll give it to both of them. They both drove pretty much a perfect race from what I saw.